Hey guys, it's Christina with My Confection Obsession, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a ballerina cake. So this cake was actually inspired by our family member named Maddie. She is a very talented and aspiring ballerina, and she's actually all the way out in Maine. So this cake is for her, and to make this cake we're going to need quite a few things. So the first thing I do want to let you guys know is we are going to be making some toe shoes, and for this I did get a template online, so I'll make sure to put that in the show notes. And I already have a fondant covered cake ready to go to put all of our details on. So just to let you guys know, I do have a 6-inch fondant covered cake here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to prepare our ballet slippers. So I am using a pale pink marshmallow fondant from my recipe. So what I did is I actually just took a little bit of bright pink and white and mixed it together. So it's really important on our template, it's going to tell you what side goes with what foot. So just make sure to pay attention to that. So this looks like it's for our left toe shoe. And I do want to try to get as clean of an edge as possible because it is going to show. Set that aside. So I'm going to do this for the top of our ballet slipper. So just don't forget to flip your template. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to put this together. So what's going to happen is we're going to actually put this around here like this and attach it with glue. Well, actually I'm using my Wilton dab and hold. So I'm going to go ahead, put this around the edge of the sole. So I'm using Wilton dab and hold. If you guys watch my channel, you know I use this all the time. It's pretty life-changing. You can also use water, but I just don't think water works as well. So I'm gonna start, this is gonna go around. So these are gonna overlap a little bit. I'm gonna start just pushing it into the sides of the sole. More glue around the edge. So you're gonna see with the shape, it naturally kind of puffs up in here, which is good. So it'll look like a real toe shoe. And then when I have it placed around the edge where I like it, I'm going to put a little bit of our dab and hold on the edge here to seal it. And you do want to make sure you have a pocket in here and then follow that arch of the template. All right. Okay, so I'm going to set this on a piece of foil to start to dry. And I'm actually going to put a little bit of foam under here because I want it to dry with an arch. We're gonna make sure this stays together. Oops. So while these are drying, I'm going to go ahead and make the bows that are gonna go on top. So I'm gonna be using a fondant mold, and I'll put this in the show notes, and dust it with a little bit of corn flour. So we're gonna soften our fondant and press it into the mold. And cut away the excess. I do have a quick tip on this, which I will also put in the show notes, of how to use fondant molds. They're very handy. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually add a back seam here to cover this. So cutting just a little bit of a rectangle strip. Okay, so we're just gonna glue that there. I'm gonna go ahead and put my bow as well. Just a little dab of glue. So we're going to set these guys aside. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to focus on the front of my cake. Okay, so for my cake, I actually did already cut out a template, so I'm kind of going off the idea that we're making like a ballerina's tutu. So this is gonna be the top of the costume. And so I did already make this template by kind of putting up against the cake to make sure that I liked how it looked. So you can see I did this. And I definitely suggest that you guys do the same so that you come up with a shape that you're happy with. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll out my white fondant. If your fondant is a little bit stiff, go ahead and pop it into the microwave for less than 10 seconds at a time. That's actually what I did for this. Soften it up a little bit. So before I attach this, I'm actually going to put the costume details on here beforehand because I think it'll be a little easier. So what I'm doing after I cut the ribbon for the ballerina bodice is I'm actually placing them on the template because I know I have to cut away the excess and I don't want to accidentally cut the fondant that I already did cut out. We'll cut it incorrectly, I should say. So now that I have the top done, I am going to go ahead and put it on the side of my cake. This top needs something, so I think I'm going to add a ruffle around the edge. So what I'm using is a Wilton Tip 104 and just some white buttercream, and I'm going to pipe a ruffle around. So I think this top looks really cute, and the next thing I'm going to do is add it to our bottom tier, which looks like a tutu. So here I have a 3-layer 8-inch cake, and what I did here is I used the buttercream ruffle technique, and so just like I did here, I used a Wilton Tip 104 and came up with this beautiful creation that I think kind of looks like a tutu. So I'm just going to add this to the top. And I do have a little cake board under here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pipe around here to hide this seam. So what I'm doing is I'm just holding this at a 45-degree angle, and I am piping like a lowercase n motion to make this ruffle. You guys watch my tutorials, you know I love to hide the seams of cake because it makes it look so much cleaner. So I've decided I want my ballet slippers to stand. So to do that, I'm going to place a little fondant ball in the end of them. So I'm going to place the fondant in the end here, and this will allow me to stick a cake pop stick in here so that these can stand. So after I do this, I do want to make sure that my slipper's set, so I do need them nice and firm, so I'm going to let these completely harden. So while our ballet shoes have been drying, you guys can see that I did add a little bit of detail to the top. I just felt like it needed a little something extra, so I am going to show you guys how I did that. So I'm just taking a little bit of my Wilton dab and hold, and I have these, they look like edible pearls to me. And what I was doing is I was actually kind of indenting where I want to put it before I actually glued. And so that gives me the mark of where it needs to go. And these you definitely would have to use some sort of adhesive. You couldn't use water, so just I think I want to add just a little bit of shimmer to the outside of my pointe shoes. So I'm taking a little bit of luster dust here. I'm just going to paint a little bit on, and I'm not sure if you guys can actually see it, but you'll be able to see it when I place these on top of the cake. So something I should mention is you could lay these shoes flat on the cake if you wanted to, like just put them over the top. I like the look of them standing up, so that's why I added the extra fondant in here with the stick through it. I'm gonna do before I place these on the cake is I'm going to make some ribbon that will go on our pointe shoes. So fun fact, I actually was a ballerina when I was younger as well, and the very first thing I ever sewed were the ribbons on my pointe shoes because my ballet teacher, her name was Charlotte, she said that every ballerina should be able to sew their ribbons on their pointe shoes. It was like a rite of passage. And I literally didn't know how to sew, and it was very frustrating, and my mom ended up having to finish them for me. So it's a true story. Okay, so for this ribbon we do want it pretty long. So the very last step to this is we are going to place our very pretty and sparkly pointe shoes on top of our cake. So just make sure that you're doing the correct feet. And final step is to add our ribbons. I'm going to just kind of drape my ribbon. Place that one in a second. Alright you guys, so our ballerina cake is done and I think it turned out perfect, and I do hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, go ahead and give this episode a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel below as well.